Oh, wait, I got some really exciting music for you. Happy Wednesday! Brian Terry and from the Disability Digest with Nadine. And Philip, I have Nader on the mind because I'm going to a conference coming up, so pardon me, but I know you're Nadine. Lovely. Great to have you here today, folks. So welcome to today's event. Today's event is about playing defense with all of the activities that's going on with Social Security. I'm going to point out some things that are critical about your medical records to make sure that they are in line and everything is correct and accurate in there, so that if you're trying to get your disability benefits, it'll help you do so. And if you're trying to keep your benefits, which most of you are, nobody wants to lose them, then it will also help you with that. So last week we had Attorney James Mitchell Brown here. So if you have any concern about like what the new administration is going to be possibly doing with your disability benefits and the system, I encourage you to do a throwback and go back and watch that event. Okay, so for today's format, we're gonna go through the primary topic that I had up on the screen in the beginning here. I'll put it back up again. And then we're gonna do a Q&A session. And Philip Price, who is here representing the largest, fastest growing Facebook group on the planet Earth that supports people getting their disability benefits, has questions from the group, right?
Yes, sir.
So we're going to cover those, and then Nadine will give you some instructions on how you can actually come on in the room, like come on down, like the Price is Right type thing, and actually come in the room and talk to none other than Philip, Price, Nadine, and I. So that's what we have in store today. Well, if you're new here, welcome. Thanks for joining us. We have been doing this work for almost 2 decades here at the Disability Digest to help people get their disability benefits approved, keep them, maximize them. There's several ways in which you can use our resources. One of which, of course, is attending this event. The best way that we're able to help people is if you join us as a member. It's up on the screen. Go to the Disability Digest. Nadine will put a link in the show notes. Click the green button, and when your profile for your membership is completed, it will help us understand how we can help you. Like, you trying to get approved, maybe you're applied and waiting, applied and denied, you just got approved, where you're at in the country, different. We even have condition specific information. So there's no charge for your membership. We're supported like this event right here. We have ads and sponsors and services that we provide. So we can do this for you, including the membership. So that's how we can help you. All right. Now, if you're out there today and you're listening to this in the audience and you've reviewed your medical records and you found something that was not correct, would you please just share that with us, a short snippet? So what I'm going to cover is not only what to look for, but oftentimes you'll find that doctors are not, shall I say, forthright in their communication of your condition, and that you have a legal right. It's actually a government law that I'm going to go through with you here today that you can use. We give you the format and how to use it and how to submit it to your doctor to advise them, listen, this information in the medical records is not correct. It should be this, and it gives them a certain amount of time to get it fixed. They do not want to have any problems with HIPAA. So this is a great way for you to control the process when you say doctors don't support me. We teach you in other work that we do, like what to say and do when you go to each one of these visits to communicate your limitations. So you can get that piece taken care of because you really want your limitations in your medical records, because if you can't sit or stand or lift more than 8 pounds, or you're not sleeping more than 4 hours a night, or somebody closes a door a little loud and you get triggered, you're not able to work. So that part we can get in place for you, or we have. And then if there's something wrong in the records, that's where this comes in. So all right, let's go. You ready?
Ready.
I'm going to put up on the screen here a list of these, and I'm just going to hit the highlights of these, and you can come back and watch the replay and get into the details. Now, here at the Disability Digest, I mentioned that we've been helping people get approved, and we do it two ways. When people join us as a member, they get access to a case evaluation. They get put into our disability approval course. There's no charge for that. And if they choose to have representation, they'd like somebody to represent them, then that's a conversation they can have with an advocate like Philip or Nadine. And if it's a fit for us or somebody else that we work with, then we'll make those arrangements. Now, our experience in representing cases is we've had all except 2 of these directly happen on individuals that we have represented for their disability benefits, because we review the medical records to make sure that what's in there so we can prove that somebody's disabled. So this isn't like made up. So here's the things that you should be looking for. Incorrect diagnoses. Fibromyalgia, lupus have been interexchanged, right? Missing or incomplete information, like they missed test results, notes, entire appointments, medications, errors in medications, which could be dosage, could be they're missing just like a total medication that was on your list. This one is interesting. We have had an entire wrong patient file in somebody else's medical records, like more than like 3 visits. I know this because we had somebody who went to court and the medical records were requested and they were put in there, and it wasn't until the attorney reviewed it and said, hey, we have like 2 people here, and they were able to work that out in court because actually this judge was familiar with that. So it does happen. Inaccurate medical history, prior conditions, allergies, past procedures not recorded or incorrectly listed. The most important one is number 18 that's at the end, folks, so hang tight. Missing lab results, treatment not recorded. Now, this could happen, this common one. Somebody goes to pain management, and which is a critical part in proving that you qualify or to keep your benefits, but it's not recorded. Duplicate entries, those are pretty easy to sort out, but they're annoying and makes it difficult to understand your medical records and correct dates of service. Fabricated or misrepresented symptoms. There are some doctors that are a little too liberal. So you have to be careful about that. That's part of the reason why Social Security sends individuals to independent medical exams or CEs. They want to make sure that, what is in your medical records is actually correct. Wrong provider notes. It belongs to another provider. Failure to document disability or function limitations. So this is where your work here on number 12 is really important. I'm going to repeat, if you've turned away from your computer and you're not watching this, failure to document disability or functional limitations. So we teach you to journal, document your limitations, bring a condensed version, 1 page into your doctors with your limitations. If you're doing all of that and it's not getting into the medical records, then it's for nada, right? So that's the whole purpose of it. That's if there's a number one thing that you want to look at in all of this, it's that. Surgical procedures. We had one individual, they had the surgery. It was a leg surgery, a hip, something I'm trying to remember, but they had on the wrong leg. He had the operation on the other leg. So incorrect billing codes, omission of specialist or referral notes, failure to document pain levels. All right, now I use veterans commonly as an example because they don't communicate their pain level like a civilian would because they're trained that way. So that's a different type of problem. But if it's properly communicated by you, meaning that like from the work that we've provided you, how to clearly communicate your pain level, and it's not in the medical records, that is an issue. Mental health record errors. This is a common one. Somebody's diagnosed with a mental health, brain health condition, let's call it depression. And the depression is such that when a depressive episode happens, which is an example would be twice a month, and this individual is in bed for 3 to 5 days for each episode, then that should be severe. That's severe enough if it's diagnosed, treated, that it would be very helpful to get somebody qualified. So if it's not documented as severe, it's documented as just marked or mild, then it's not going to have the same, it's not communicating the severity of it. So make sure that you understand that your conditions are noted properly, especially for the invisible ones, like, the depressions and the bipolars and this. Okay. Here's the last one, most important. People often communicate, Philip, Nadine, I'm sure you've heard this, that, that they were given a prescription for Vicodin, or they were advised to go to pain management again, right? So, and they don't want to take Vicodin because, maybe it solves the pain, but it makes them a complete zombie. And they can't communicate. Or they don't want to go to pain management again because it actually makes them worse. So in the Social Security world, it is A-okay to communicate a valid reason why you do not want to take the Vicodin, go to pain management. But if that is not in your medical records, that's a big problem. And this would be number 2 on the list, the second thing to look for. Because what happens is Social Security will come through and say, hey, if you had gone to pain management for just 3 months, like you were directed to, then you could work. And what's not in there is not the explanation that says, I tried going to pain management, but it caused me these challenges, right? So make sure you tighten up the failure to document. So those are what to look for. This might sound like it's like daunting, but there's two key points here. I mean, this is your health, folks. And it would be great if we had like a 100% accuracy in today's, medical system. But I can speak from somebody that's not treated, just from looking at all these situations and seeing them. I just know that's not true. So that's one, two, and also it's really good disability insurance. Your medical records and your evidence that you provide is really, it's the backbone of getting and keeping your benefits. So I hope you found this valuable. If you have any comments relative, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, to situations that you've experienced, love to hear those. All right, so now we're going to mix it up a little bit, not a little bit, but a bit. I'm going to go over to Philip. Philip, again, is representing the fastest growing, largest Facebook group on the planet Earth. Just went over 10,000 members, gets lots and lots of questions, brings a few key ones in here. We work together because Philip has the support piece. The Disability Digest has the how-to get people approved. Just the support, making you feel good, is not going to do it. And just having the how-tos is great, but it's always good to have some support. So great to have you here. Let's have a
first question today. If my husband applied while he was employed, but then had to quit 1 month later due to his mental health, is there a way to notify Social Security that he is not actually working?
Yeah, what I'm wondering is if they canceled the application. You can notify them. That actually, there's two things here. I'm starting to get off tangent. Let me get back in. You can notify them. You can just simply contact the case manager that was working on the case. And we don't know, again, if the case is open or closed, do we?
No.
No. Yeah. Hopefully it's still open.
Yes.
So that's one. Notify the case manager at Social Security. If you're using a representative, then I would definitely go through them. But here's one of the key things. That's a failed work attempt, which would actually be beneficial evidence to getting approved. How we can help you here at the Disability Digest at the top of the program. I showed you how to join us as a member. We have a disability approval course. There's a section in there on evidence, and having the key evidence would be helpful. So that's how I would do it. Now, for a failed work attempt, he worked for a month or less, right? Is that what it was?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Good for evidence. Hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Next one. Do we have to pay taxes on back pay?
Possibly. I have a video on that. It depends on your household income, but if you look in your award letter, it will say what the criteria is for tax. Now, here's a tip for you, because it's tax season. I actually remember this one. Let's say that it took you 2 years to get approved and you received $30,000 in back pay. Then if you take all of that $30,000 in 1 year, it's going to likely have a different impact on your tax than it would if you were to allocate $15,000 to the first year and $15,000 to the second year. So amortize it over it, because and that's actually that's totally legal, and I think it should be done that way, because you're receiving money for the months that you've been out of work. You're just receiving it all at once.
Okay. Here's the next one. I am still on 3 of 5 in the application process. I started a substitute job, don't drive, and control my days, which is only needed or only when needed. It actually helps getting out of the house. I know the limit changed in 25. What is the maximum? Also, some months have 5 weeks. Some have 4 weeks. Does this work? How does this work?
All right, so what's the number again for 2025? 16 something?
1620.
20, yeah.
Yeah, 1620.
Yeah, so $1,620 a month or less is under the allowed amount. So there's a few things here. And it's 20 hours a month is if you're below that. And I think it's great that you're working. And the challenges with working and going through the approval process is you're attempting to prove that you cannot work. And it's like, I always say, if you want to top shelf it, don't work, set up your move to start working once you're approved. It's a whole different deal. Can't make as much, but you can do it every month. So that's a consideration that you have. Now, if you are working, some other things that you want to keep in mind, are they making any special accommodations for you? Like, do you have a job that maybe requires moving some of the chairs or rearranging the furniture for the kids, and you don't have to do that piece, or they let you come in late, leave early, anything like that, that can reduce the income amount, should be done and communicated to Social Security. It might be difficult for you to do it, but if you're going to work, explaining the work and the workplace accommodations will help you in the approval process.
All right, this next one, I believe, comes from a veteran. It says, does documented evaluations from the past help? Honestly, I feel like I'm being scammed by the government, LOL. Combat PTSD, recurring major depression for over 20 years. I have always complained about the medication not helping. The major symptoms of concern, which was my cognitive decline and memory issues. Just recently, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and it fully explains in line up to my concerned issues. It's not my fault that over 14 therapists, counselors, psychiatrists, primary care doctors missed it since I started seeing therapists in 2001. So I guess my question after my small rant is, does this type of documentations hold water to appeal when I can find a lawyer?
Right. Well, I mean, these are really it's good information and a great summary. The challenge for me, from my position, is I have an understanding of the conditions. I don't have an understanding of the limitations, like what is it that this individual is not able to do. So, but I would look at it this way: if you're not able to work, then you need to understand how to communicate your limitations. That's one of the things with the disability approval process. It's very common that people just go on, as this individual said, rant about their conditions, but he could still be able to work. We don't know. I mean, he's a combat veteran. He's taught to play hurt. So here's what it comes to. The VA cases are really the highest degree of difficulty in my almost 2 decades of doing this to get individuals approved, because their medical records, I'll just say conservatively, are different. This individual probably has thousands of pages worth of medical records. And so for Social Security, who is like Attorney Brown last week, who was here, They have individuals that are given a certain amount of time to go through medical records. And if there's an abundance of them, you know, it's difficult for them to find it. So I'm ranting back at the rant. What I would suggest for this individual, without a doubt, join the Disability Digest if you haven't already. Get in touch with one of our advocates. They'll do an evaluation of your case. They'll give you an idea if you have a shot or not at it. They're going to ask you some more in-depth questions, and then they'll get you access to the disability approval course. You can go forward and use that. You mentioned that you're trying to find legal representation, and we could explore that option with you as well. Maybe it's something that we could work on internally here, or like some of the other people, the guest speakers that we have that come on the show could be a candidate. We'll do what we can to help you out, right? But I think the evaluation for sure would be a good first step for you. So just the disabilitydigest.com, come on in.
Wow.
All right, this is the last one for today. Says, what happens if you win a big lawsuit? I am planning on applying for disability for my certified health condition related to September 11th, 9/11 cleanup. My question is, what happens if I get a lawsuit settlement while applying for a Social Security disability? Will it affect me in any way?
Yeah, that's a good question. I just actually shot a quick video on this. Somebody had contacted us that actually had won the lottery. And yeah, I wasn't able to get a loan or anything from them, but you know, so, but I asked. So the deal is, if you have external income, lottery, lawsuit, if it's something that you have not worked for, like the back to the substitute teacher where you're exchanging time for money, it's not going to have an impact on your Social Security disability benefits. Now, if you are like have income like below $1,700 a month, like assets, and you're a Medicaid and Social Security, like you're dual eligible, it will eliminate the dual eligibility if it's a significant settlement. But in my opinion, that's a good problem to have. So I'd recommend, once you win, celebrate. That's what the guy with the lottery did. Yeah, without me, but.
All right, that was it. Nadine, you got anything?
Yeah. So, are we gonna move forward with the Zoom Q&A,
Come
Brian?
on
Or
down.
all right. So everyone, I am now sending the link for you to join us live. If you have any questions, feel free to join the room, but we would appreciate if you send in your question first so that we would be able to filter it out and make
Yep.
sure that, yeah, you're not asking about what type of dog food to feed your pet.
Yep.
So, yeah, feel free to join, but yes, please let us know first what your question is. You can either comment it down below in the comment section, or you can also send me a chat via Zoom.
All right.
All right. So while we are waiting for someone to join us, we have two questions here from the comments. One from Oso. He was asking, what does it mean when SSA sends you to one of their doctors?
Well, if you're going through the approval process, 72% of the people are sent for independent medical exam and evaluation. So as I mentioned in the top of the program, the objective of that, one of them, is to validate that your medical records are aligned with your conditions. So I do this every week, Nadine. I forget to give you the power, so I'm going to do that right now.
Okay.
So this is, if you're sent, one thing first, it is part of the process. I would not be alarmed, but I would definitely encourage you to prepare. And part of the disability approval course, section 3 in the disability approval course, for those that are at the initial application stage, has the 7 key things that you want to do in these exams, like one of which is you do not want to go alone. And there's certain things you want to document. You want to bring summary of your medical records or all your medical records. So in the disability approval course, make sure you get tuned into that before you go. If you don't have the course yet, come to the Disability Digest, click the green button, and fill out the profile, and we'll get you into the right section of the course.
All right. Thanks so much for that. That's very helpful. So we have Teresa, who is wanting to join us live right now. She has a question about, her chances of getting approved, and her work history. So I'm gonna let her in.
Okay, great. Teresa is coming on down.
There you go.
Teresa, you're muted.
Yes, Teresa. Welcome. If you look on the Zoom console, there's a microphone with a red line through it. If you click on that, we'll be able to hear you. And then there's also a video button. If you click on that, we will be able to see you. While Teresa's coming in the room, I want to address something that's been brought up a few times lately. People are looking for, or the question, I'm reading it here. I'd like you to elaborate on the providing a card that will give me an additional $200 in dispensary income. What are these? I'm not familiar with them, so on and so forth. So, and these are becoming more common. They're called flex cards, and a flex card is like a debit card that is a part of a Medicare Advantage plan, which you're a disability recipient, 24 months from your entitlement date, you're Medicare eligible, and you can get enrolled into a plan. And so these are becoming more popular as a competitive tool for Medicare Advantage plans to attract people in. They're not available in all areas, but if you're in a densely populated area, it's common that you would find one, especially if you are a dual eligible disability recipient, meaning that you are eligible for Medicaid and Medicare, which typically your income is below $1,700. So one of the things we encourage people to do is to have their benefits reviewed. As a matter of fact, that's something we do here at the Disability Digest, where you can request a benefit review. There's no charge, it's part of your membership, and we'll help you understand if this is something you're interested in, if it's a fit for you. We'll also help you understand other things too, like commonly there are things that you're paying for that you don't need to. Like we found lots of people that are still paying for their Medicare Part B premium, $185 a month, and they don't need to. So that's it. Teresa, we can hear you.
Hi, I'm here. I can't believe it.
Hello, Teresa.
We can. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I had typed a question in the chat on YouTube. What I'm wondering is I haven't been able to work in any capacity since about 2020. And I know that there's kind of a 5-year span where if you've not worked in 5 years, then you're no longer eligible. And I just wonder, am I still, I did turn in my paperwork. I sent in my function report and my work report, but I'm wondering if there's an opportunity still for me to be approved.
Yeah, good question. What month in 2020 was it that you stopped?
I was working very part-time hours and I stopped, I think it was October. That's what I reported.
Okay. All right. So October, so it would be 5 years this October?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really the only way to confirm that now that you've already applied for disability would be to ask Social Security, like your case manager. Are you managing your own case right now?
Yes.
Okay. So your case manager, you just want to ask a question like, the real question you want is, what is my date last insured for Social Security? And she might say December of 7th of 2025. That's the real date that you want. So you've already applied. As long as that date is in the future, and after you applied, then hopefully you should be fine. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So are there any other questions?
So to get in touch with that person, would I just call, so in my case, the office is in Nashville. Would I just contact Nashville office and talk to whoever?
Yeah, you'd speak with the case manager. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
got it.
Now, you filled out the function forms. Are you a member here at the Disability Digest, or you just tuned in on the YouTube live?
I had tried a few weeks ago when there was a live, and then I never got back to it until just today. So I was trying to confirm my membership just a few minutes ago.
Okay, so I know you've already finished the form, but it still would be good for you to review the course about how the forms should be filled out. Hopefully it was done right, but what that will help you with is, like, if you're managing your own case, you want to be conscious about the communication that you use directly with your case manager. So if you have something to write on there, I'll just give you this in advance of getting in the course, but you want to go through in the course item 1C, like Charlie, for sure. And then the next thing is, because you're in the process, is you want to definitely focus on everything that is in section 2, which is evidence. Evidence that you can obtain from your doctor, evidence from third-party resources, work contacts, family, right? And then you're going to be sent for an exam that I've mentioned, and that will be step 3 in the disability approval course. So those are the 3 areas, and then there'll be supporting information. So once your membership is confirmed, we'll get you into the right right segment of the course. I don't know if Nadine has your contact information from joining the room. Is it in here? If it is, that would be great. Or if you could chat Nadine your just your email address, and then we can go through and be proactive and take care of that for you.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, I'll send you a message here in Zoom, so you can reply, Teresa, okay?
Thank you.
Good. Well, listen, when you get approved, which hopefully that's the case, please, please, please let us know so we can celebrate with you.
Thanks so much, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, so we have another audience here who would like to join, but I'm waiting for her to join the Zoom room. But she has a question about overpayment. So yeah. Oh, she's here. Her name is Carolyn.
Okay. Carolyn has an overpayment question.
Hi, Carolyn. So let me read her question while she's trying to figure out how to turn on her camera and microphone. So she said, I have an overpayment. I'm an SSDI. They're trying to force me to not file bankruptcy and following me around everywhere and even getting in my face. What can I do? I have all the plate numbers and they're taking my pictures. I reported it as denied, but a lawyer told me they will do it all the time.
Wow, that's kind of heavy.
Yeah.
I wonder how much the overpayment is. Do we have like a dollar figure? That's a lot of resources they're throwing at somebody. So, Maybe we should provide instructions.
Brian, you muted your mic.
Oh, something I said. Anyway, we'll have to wait until we get more information. Sorry, the individual's name again was?
Carolyn Cruz.
Carolyn, on your Zoom, there is a button with, that looks like a microphone that has a line through it. Click on that, and then there's another one for your camera that you're welcome to click on so we can hear you.
Yeah.
Talk about your overpayment. Okay. All right. What about questions in chat while we're waiting, or anybody else want to come on down?
While we're waiting for her, we have a question here from Kelly. I had an examiner assigned 1st of Feb, was overwhelmed with the forms. It was emailed yesterday with a decision in 14 to 30 days, so I rushed to fax. Will they likely accept them before deciding, or am I screwed? That's the question.
That's the question. I don't know when the forms were due back. Was that in there? Was there like a deadline, like they needed to be back in 5 days and they were back in 7?
Nope, he didn't say.
All right, so I would just follow up on the forms. If there's a valid reason why they were late, like you had a health issue or a death in the family, which are valid reasons, then you want to communicate to them. If you just didn't feel like doing it, then that's not so good. And then, I mean, here's the situation. It's a done deal now, right? So if you can explain it away and they'll make sure the forms are there, then great. But yeah, and if you are denied, you can, and part of the reason is that these were not received in time, depending on the situation, that could be pointed out in your denial. Like, you received these, I have the fax receipt, you said this is why I was denied. That could be done. It's an opportunity for you.
All right. I have a question though. This is not from the chat, but this is from the conversation that I had with a member.
Mhm.
So the guy is trying to apply for disability, and then he has a common law wife. They're not married, but they're like sharing bills and been living together for more than 10 years. So he would like to know, does he need to, yeah, like declare in the application that he has a common law wife, or does he have to say he's single because they're not legally married?
For Social Security, it asks for marriages clearly. And if this is not an official marriage, then I'm going to lean towards no. 99.7% no. I don't know why you would. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Carolyn is still trying to figure out how to turn on her microphone. She sent a message in the comment section saying that it's not working for her. And that was the last question that I have.
Okay. I think in the future, because this is a common thing, is we could do something about directions and how to use Zoom. I mean, there's some easy testing like Zoom items that are out there. Okay, so let's do this. For the next steps, I'm just going to share my screen, show you some of the resources that we have that are available. Then I'm going to turn it over to Nadine, and she will introduce you to our new friend, Benny. And so we had several questions today about the approval process. So veteran, a question, Teresa, etc. So when somebody joins us as a member and they complete the profile that I showed you, the disability approval course is put together with other industry experts like Attorney Jonathan Ginsburg, Attorney Carl Osterhow, all have great YouTube online presences. Ex-Social Security employee Barbara Mountain, Attorney James Mitchell Brown, who was here last week, Michael Sexton, who is a great disability representative. So they've all put together the how-tos, as well as we have a collection of how-tos from our members. And the course is set up so that there's like 5 main steps. Step 1 is how to file your application, like what you need for information. Step 2 is what to do while you're waiting. This is where most people make a huge mistake. They just apply, but they don't know that there's like 7 key things to do. Like you need to understand what to say, you need to understand what you need to prove, what evidence, how to go to the doctor, all these things. So those are some of the 7. That's all in that segment. And then if it doesn't work and you get denied, how to file your appeal. And if your reconsideration appeal gets done, like how to manage and go to a hearing. So it's all there. It's very, it's section by section. So if you're done with like what to do while you're waiting, then you advance to the reconsideration. So that's part of it. Now, if you're approved, we have a comprehensive, like how to keep your benefits.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can. I'll be right with you.
Sure.
And that is for those of you that are concerned about your CDRs, we have a continuing disability review guide. And so this will teach you how to prepare for your review and what to do when you get it and what happens if you get denied. Industry expert, Attorney James Mitchell Brown, has put this together with us. So if you're approved and you come and you join us about 7 days after your membership has started, you will receive this after you've received some of the other how-tos. So those are a few of the ways in which we can help you. Also housing. Many people would like to supplement their income. We have a lot of work that we've done on that. And so now, before we wrap up, we have Carolyn is here with us with your hand up. Wonderful.
Hello.
Hello, Carolyn.
Hi. Yeah, I had an overpayment. They kept saying that it wasn't reporting my home health care income, and that was already proven. But now they're coming after me saying that that I'm going to pay it back no matter what I say, how much, it's going to hurt me. I'm no longer able to work. I'm having spine surgery. They're telling me that I have to pay it back. Bankruptcy is not an option. I have to pay it back. The worker kept trying to get me to say over the phone that I agreed, and I kept saying I do not agree with that. It's impossible for me to pay that back. I've been followed around by 4 different people, 2 women, 2 guys. I took all their plates down. I called Social Security and asked, why am I being followed? They denied it. But when I spoke to an attorney, he told me that they do, in fact, have people followed. I've seen them taking my pictures. Why is this being done if I've proven I can't pay the money back?
Yeah. Well, based on the information I have, it's, well, first of all, sorry that you're going through this.
Thank you.
And I mean, I don't know. I know it does happen. Obviously, when your situation, unfortunately, it's happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few questions, so I'd
Okay.
learn a little bit more. This is without a doubt a difficult situation, Carolyn.
Mm-hmm.
And how much is the overpayment? How much are they saying that you owe them?
Well, they took my money away from me for a minute, and now it's $9,800.
So 9,800, and they have stopped your check?
They stopped for 2 months. They stopped my check for 2 months and then gave it back because I filed an appeal.
Okay, so now you're back in pay status, right?
Yes,
And they're saying, and is it still 9,800?
that's what it is now. Yes, after they kept my money.
Okay. And this is an optional question. You don't have to answer it. You can pass. But what is your monthly check?
Oh, I don't care. It's 1,800.
Okay. So 1,800. All right. So with the new regulation that went in last year, the most for an overpayment would be 10% of your monthly check to reduce that 9,800. Has that conversation been had?
Yes, but they don't want to do that. They want me to just give up. The person that's speaking to me wants me to just give up my check altogether.
Really? Well, that's interesting.
And
Well,
if I ask questions, he refuses to answer them.
right, right. Have you tried to find, like, you know, are you really, do you want to manage this on your own, or have you looked to find somebody to help you with this, like legal help?
Yeah, I've called 3 places.
Okay,
2 of them has never called me back. One has, but he's not sure that he can take my case.
right.
Everyone wants a big lump sum of a retainer fee. I don't have it.
Sure. No, it's to be, I mean, you're on a fixed income. Just out of curiosity, the others that are out there looking for like a large retainer, how much are they looking for?
One wanted 3,500 down up front. I mean, which I understand you have to make a living, but I just don't have it to put down.
Yeah. So here's a few thoughts for you. Have you tried Centers for Independent Living, a free their legal aid department?
Oh no, I've never even heard of it.
Okay. So this will be are you a member here at the Disability Digest?
No, just a subscriber.
Just on YouTube?
Yes.
So I would recommend that you join us as a member.
Okay.
Complete your profile, and you're going to receive information from our support desk, and
Okay.
then communicate back to the support desk. Just say, I would like directions to contact my local Center for Independent Living. That's one. Two is we do have contacts that do overpayment work, but message to you and everybody else is out there. The best thing to do is to avoid one, but that's not your case. But this is just a general message because it's hard to get people to do these legally. Free legal aid is going to be good, and you can ask our support desk to have you introduce you to somebody that can help you with your overpayment. Just make sure that you clearly reference that you are on today's live 3-5. And we can have them listen to this segment of it so they understand your situation and do it. You know, it wouldn't cost you anything to speak with them, and perhaps they have other guidance than I do. But here's the thing, my take is I would encourage you to get out of the phone conversations with them and just have everything in writing.
Yeah, because when they asked me to come into the office, the person that asked me to come into the office, I went into the office twice. He refused to see me. He kept giving a message to the person at the window to talk to me. And then the person at the window would take it back to him. I found that odd. And I said, that's it. I'm not talking anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah. So, yep. So in writing, and 10% is the rule, like
Okay.
10%.
Okay.
And so you can also send them that, say, listen, this is the rule, 10% would be $180 a month. Right. So I think if you can't get any legal help to like get rid of it, and you just are okay with paying it down at 10%, you know, you likely, because that's the law, you should be able to get that cleaned up pretty quick. Now, the
Okay.
other thing you can do, this is another idea. When you get through those resources and you're not getting anywhere, I would consider, make sure everything is well documented. Consider contacting your local congressional representative and going through your story. You're going to have to submit something in writing first.
Okay.
But this just sounds like it's criminal is really the only word that I can think of. What's going on to you? Yeah.
Okay. Now, as far as the people following me, I mean, the man got in my face. I turned around and I slammed into him. He followed me from the doctor's office across the street to the subway. And when I turned around, I slammed right into him. And he just stood there looking at me. I've never heard of that going on.
You know, this really is surprising for me. I mean, $9,800 is not a lot of money compared to some of the overpayments, and why they would put so many resources on this, right? I mean, you pay somebody for a day, how much does that cost?
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so, well, listen, God bless you. I would love to hear back from you. Keep in touch with us, follow through with those steps. And you know, when you get it cleaned up, come on back on the show. Tell us.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Here's what happened. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Right? Okay, you bet. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
All right. Do we
Dawn?
still have time to answer one more question from the comment?
I do. Yeah, I see you have Ray
Yeah.
lined up. Yeah.
So we have a question here. It said, I've been on SSDI since 2017, categorized as mine, and never had a CDR. I'm now 65. Do you think it's likely I would still get a review? And will my Medicare be terminated if my benefits get cut off?
Okay. So this is Ray's question.
Yeah, it's like,
Um, waiting for Ray to join us.
yep.
Yeah. So those of you that are listening out there to Carolyn's story, you know, I encourage you not to be discouraged about working, especially now. I encourage people to do that. It's just really important that you understand the income threshold, how much money you can make and keep your benefits once you're approved, and that you ideally stay 20% below that. Now, here's my situation here at the Disability Digest. Since we started in 2016. In 2017, we started having members that are disability recipients work here, and there's been, you know, a certain level of staff, anywhere from 30 to, at one time, there's like 60% of the people that were here were disability recipients. And oh, by the way, we are looking for others. So if you're a member here at the Disability Digest, you'll likely learn about the openings. But the point is that we've had people get reviewed, certainly, because that's part of the process. But there hasn't been any overpayments. There has not been any terminations. There hasn't been any of that. So it's totally fine to do that. So hopefully that will set your mind at ease, because, I mean, frankly, we don't know the rules of the game going forward for Social Security disability. Although the Disability Trust Fund is healthy, we don't know. So what's the deal with Ray? Is he having a hard time getting in here, or?
Not sure. Yeah, we lost him here in the room. He hasn't attempted to join again.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
All right. Well, let's do this, Ray. If you're out there, you can come back and join us. We'll be here, you know, next week.
Yep.
So encourage you to do that. And for everybody else that's out there, thank you for joining today. Philip, Nadine, appreciate your contribution to today's event. The
Of course.
413 of you out there on YouTube, thank you. I hope you found value in this. Encourage you to check your notes, your treatment notes with the 18 reasons that I mentioned. Make sure that they are clean, accurate, so you don't run into any problems, right? Good.
And
All right.
so before we say goodbye, I just want to mention to everyone that I posted the link to Benny. So if you have any questions about disability process, Benny is here to answer you guys. He is available 24/7. He takes no day offs. So yeah, you can take note of the link. I posted it in the comment.
Good. Good. Actually, I have seen him take some time off lately, but it's not necessarily his fault. I think it might be his direct report has got a problem. But that being said, but no, that's a good introduction. So Benny, just to expand on a little bit, is our answer to the Social Security situation out there. It's not a complete answer, but we've been collecting questions for almost 2 decades here that people ask. And we spent 16 months putting all of this information into Benny so that when you ask a question like how much can I make and apply for disability, or you know, I need housing help or overpayment help, whatever the situation is, windfall elimination period, then you are provided with information that we have here. So it's just there for you. If he doesn't know, he's told to say he doesn't know. So thank you, Nadine, for putting that in there.
All right.
Okay, folks, thank you so much. Hope you found this helpful. Share it if you did. Stay tuned for more. Till next time.
See y'all next week.